The rain and split came down like code, precise, rhythmic, algorithmically perfect. It beaded on synthetic awnings, washed grime from old war statues, and trickled into gutters lined with the luminous glow of maintenance nanites. Jazz Cardano stood under a flickering light outside Kaia's lab, one hand buried in his coat pocket, the other holding a data shard tight enough to crack. He hadn't called ahead. Kaia hated surprises, especially from him. But this couldn't wait. The drone's black box core, pulled from the carcass in the Balkan DMZ, now pulsed faintly in his palm. Inside, hashes, time codes, and something far worse. Truth. The door hissed open before he knocked. "I have 20 minutes," Kaia said flatly, eyes scanning a transparent tablet in her left hand. "And I'm not interested in another one of your salvage conspiracy tangents." Jazz held up the shard. "This one breathes fire, Kaia. Let me show you." Inside the lab, the hum of air filters played counterpoint to the ghostly whispers of AI routines querying ethics models in the background. On a suspended screen, simulated civilian responses flickered in real time, part of her ongoing research into the layer's behavioral nudging systems. She still wore her hair up the way she had when they first met, back before the layer rewrote how children played and how adults justified everything. He slid the shard into her secure terminal. It chirped. Data bloomed. Kaia's face paled. Timestamp chains, GPS vectors, strike telemetry, player IDs, all cross-referenced with anonymized hashes generated by the layer's reward engine. A decade's worth of gameplay, mapped, ledgered, confirmed. Kills tallied like high scores. And the names traced back to users barely in their teens. She didn't speak for a full minute. Then, "Where did you get this?" "Pulled it off a downed drone. Military registry scrubbed, but the hashnet pointed to Dread Zone, Liberty Protocol. You remember it?" Her eyes narrowed. "I helped build its decision filters. The moral throttle." "You what?" Kaia stood pacing now. "We had systems, fail-safes, filters that flagged unethical simulations. Missions requiring real-time targeting were supposed to be sandboxed, run by AI, not crowdsourced to kids in the damn metaverse." Jazz gestured to the screen. "Looks like someone looped your throttle." "No," she whispered. "They didn't loop it. They inverted it." She pulled up a back-end diagnostic, fingers trembling. A buried protocol flared open. Ether, loop-back mode, last triggered over 9 years ago. It had routed flagged missions not to quarantine, but to the highest-ranked teen players under 17, framed as special event raids. No verification, no consent. Kaia backed away from the screen as though it might bite. "I trained the model to pause when ethical ambiguity spiked. They trained it to accelerate." Jazz watched her. "And now? I have to find out who authorized this. Obelisk?" Jazz nodded. "Shell DAOs, nested like Russian dolls. You pull one name, you get 5 more aliases. But I've traced a few of the transaction patterns. All roads lead to Obelisk." She looked at him like she was seeing a ghost. "They used us." "They used everyone," Jazz said, "especially the kids." Kaia turned back to her terminal. With surgical precision, she began rerouting access nodes, encrypting threads, copying the hash tree into cold storage. Jazz recognized the pattern. When Kaia was afraid, she acted. When terrified, she calculated. "I need access to the layer's ethics logs," she muttered. "Backups, old training sets. If there's even a trace of my model's subversion, I can prove it, but I'll need root." Which means, I break into my own lab's data vault, risk my license. Maybe more, Ecke. Jazz smiled, dry and crooked. "Welcome to the deep end." Kaia snapped the terminal shut and stared at him. "If this is true, Jazz, it changes everything. The layer, the children, the wars we thought were fought by drones." "They were," Jazz said, "but the drones were children." Thunder cracked outside, rolling like a slow wave over the city. Somewhere far off, a drone's low thrum broke the night air. Jazz could feel the pieces shifting now, Kaia's doubt giving way to conviction, and with conviction came danger, for both of them. She turned off the lights and stood by the window, watching the storm. "I used to believe ethics was a compass," she said softly. Now, I think it's just couldn't, and anyone with the right keys can rewrite it. Jazz came to stand beside her. Then let's change the locks. Neither spoke for a moment. Then Kaia whispered, you should go. They'll come for me next. Jazz nodded. Not if I make enough noise first. As he left, the rain thickened into a downpour, washing the neon streets clean for a heartbeat, just long enough to pretend the world outside was still sane. But inside them both, the war had already begun.